Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well today. I've been a bit absent from making YouTube videos throughout the last year. I've been stuck reading too many fantasy books, having a good time there. But I'm back making you guys helpful content to help you along, build muscle, lose fat, get the results you want in the gym. So today I want to talk about my biggest lessons in training and nutrition from my last year of training, all the things I've learnt and relearnt over my last year of training. A lot of my lessons today are things that I knew in the start, but I just relearnt, re-established my beliefs in those methods and principles. So firstly, I wanted to go over my biggest lessons training-wise this year. And where I want to start with that is just when you start training, really make sure you know what your goals are and make sure you're prioritizing your goals in your training. So for me, one thing I've always wanted to do with my training is to build up my arms and shoulders and to balance out my physique. So I've been training for about 5 years now, and early on in my training career, I focused a lot of my training on powerlifting and getting strong at those lifts. And I built some impressive numbers in those lifts because I prioritized that in my training. But one of my goals I've had for a long time is to build up my arms and my shoulders. And I've never given that the time of day in my training until the last year. And that reflects in my physique as I've built up the muscles of my squat, bench and deadlift. I've built up my chest, my back, my legs, and I haven't spent enough time focusing on my shoulders and arms. So that part of my physique, although developed now, is still behind the development of the rest of my physique. So my big lesson from this year is making sure I'm putting my priorities at the start of my training. So instead of putting a bench press, a squat or a deadlift as my first movement of my workout, I'm now putting my bicep curls, my shoulder presses, my side raises, my tricep push downs. So I'm putting the exercises for the muscles that I want to build at the start of my workout so I can put all my energy into them. So when you're building your program, make sure you know what your goals are and you're prioritizing building muscles that you want to develop, focusing on the lifts that develop the muscles you want to build or the lifts that you want to get stronger at. So if your goal is a bigger bench press, make sure you're bench pressing first in your workout. If you want bigger biceps, make sure you're doing your bicep curls early on in your workout so you can give your full energy to the movements that are most important to you and your goals. And if you are someone like me that wants to build up your arms, it's okay to train your arms first in a workout and then go on to your chest and back exercises. It's okay to have fatigued biceps when you're doing your pull-ups and your rows. If your biceps are what you want to build, you're not as worried about your back development. Because a long time for me is I always thought I would train my triceps last because I don't want my tricep fatigue interrupting my bench press training. But my goal was always to build up my arms first, not my bench press. So I got a little distracted if chasing weight on the big lifts instead of chasing weight on the lifts that were most important to me. So my biggest mindset change with my training was treating every lift as a big lift. So I treat my bicep curls just like I used to treat my bench press when I was chasing bench press 1RMs. Now I make sure I'm really locked in for my curls when I'm doing them, and I make sure every rep counts, I'm working the muscle, and I'm getting them stronger so I can progress my biceps and get them bigger. And then a couple other smaller things I've been doing with my training now also, I've been incorporating a lot more supersets into my workouts just to make sure that I'm just not wasting time standing around the gym when I can be doing other exercises and shortening my overall workouts, but also just pushing my conditioning a little bit. Like now with having all these supersets in my training, when I'm doing things back to back, my cardiovascular fitness has really improved. So I can just go out for a run, jump on the step mill and do quite well without having to do those things regularly. And I can have a good cardiovascular system without having to do too much work. And my workouts aren't going for forever, but I'm able to get a lot of work in them because I'm just training a lot in the time that I'm at the gym. And the last thing I want to say about training is just keep it simple. There's no need to overthink your training. Just think about it as much as you need to get results. When you do your program, pick exercises that work the muscles you want to build. Do 5 to 20 sets of each muscle per week and just focus on that 5 to 30 rep range and get stronger. If you can focus on the key details and just get in hard sets for the muscles you want to develop throughout the week, you'll get the results you want to get. Try not to overthink your training. So moving on to the nutrition side of things, the biggest habit or lesson I got in control this year is making sure I'm cooking my own food, but cooking myself a variety of foods. One issue I've had in the past is just not broadening my horizons in the kitchen and just eating the same foods, getting sick of what I'm eating and then ordering out, or just not picking good options because I don't have good options available that I want to eat. So expanding my ability in the kitchen, using spices, learning how to combine different foods together really helped me to be able to be more consistent with my diet and have my most successful fat loss period that I've ever had whilst dieting. And something I want to point out with nutrition, fat loss, body recomposition is you can recomp your body, you can lose fat and build muscle at the same time. So most of this year, I stayed around 85 to 86 kilos and just got stronger in the gym. And I did progress. I did build a bit of muscle. I did lose a bit of fat. But the amount of progress I got wasn't overly great. So now the last 2 months, I've gone on a pretty successful cut, got myself down to the 81 mark. And what I'm going to be doing now is making sure I'm more diligent with my bulk. So what I've done in the past is I've gained weight too quickly, got too fat on my bulks. Yes, I've built muscle, but I've also built a lot of fat. So then I've had to spend a long time cutting. And that's always been something I don't like. I haven't done well in the past. I haven't been great with cutting off weight, and it seems to take me a lot longer than it does to put on weight. So now that I've built up the habits in the kitchen, I eat good quality foods, I don't have too many bad cravings as I don't have too many foods that are off diet very often. I don't eliminate those foods. I still eat Ben & Jerry's when I want to. I still get a little bit of fast food if I'm craving it really bad. But most of the time I'm eating my own food, I'm enjoying my own food that I'm cooking. So I'm able to stick to my diet easy. And when I go back to gaining weight, it's just going to be swapping foods in and out. So just swapping out the cauliflower rice for real rice and just slowly upping my calories there. So I can slowly gain muscle over time, as being in a surplus is the best way to build muscle. All of my best gains have come from being in a bulk, but I just got to take my bulk a bit slower so I can spend more of my year in a surplus and then less of my year cutting off that weight. So nutrition wise, just really make sure you're focusing on the habits. You don't have to get everything right at once, but if you're constantly focusing on just trying to cook your own food, keep quality foods in the house, limit your intake of foods you don't want to be eating, you don't have to fully eliminate these foods, but the less and less that you're eating the foods that you don't want to be a large part of your diet, the less and less you'll crave them. As long as your focus is on building the right habits and not just making drastic changes overnight, I think you can get great progress that way. I didn't build a good diet overnight, over 1 year. It took me about 5 years to get to the stage where I am now, where I'm eating plenty of vegetables, where I'm cooking most of my own food, where I'm eating mostly minimally processed foods. So it's okay if things don't happen for you overnight. It's just a matter of building habits. As long as we're just doing a little bit better each day, a little bit better each week, each month, we'll get progress, because we're not going to just quit on ourselves and stop focusing on our health. As long as you have a focus on your health, understanding that health is a long-term game is super important for long-term success. The best advice I ever got is that fitness is a long-term game. So as long as we keep our focus on that, on just slowly building habits over time, making small incremental improvements, we'll make great progress over our entire lifetimes. We'll be healthier, stronger, fitter people, as long as we just don't give up. The only way to ensure that you won't get the results that you want is just by giving up. So set realistic expectations for yourself so you can stay motivated and committed to the goal. One last thing on the nutrition side of things that's been helping me a lot as well is just focusing on my nutrition around my workouts. Before I train, I want to keep my meal low in fat, high in carbs, high in protein. So I usually go for like an oatmeal with a bit of protein in there. Just sits super easy in my stomach, gives me the carbs I need for training. And during my workouts, I've just been having a hydrate powder, which just has some sugars and some electrolytes in it. So it just helps me to have the energy I need to use whilst I'm training, because I like to do my longer workouts. And also the electrolytes just keep you hydrated. You need to be hydrated to be able to contract your muscles the hardest and perform the best in the gym. And also it helps you just feel fresh whilst you're working out and afterwards. And then after training, just making sure I'm getting in my protein and carbs as well there. And still keeping fats reasonably low and keeping the fats for later in the day. And that's just been a good one for nutrition, just be able to perform the best in the gym and recover well. Thank you so much for watching my video today. I am planning on doing these every week. Please let me know what topics you want me to be covering. What do you struggle with your training or nutrition? And what do you want help with? I can make videos about that and just to help you guys out. That's what I'm here for. Thanks for watching, guys.